Welcome back to Factorio Space Age. My name is Nilaus, and we are back here with a weird construction. We're going to start a little bit different today. I'm going to start with the end and just show you the construction of what we are going to be doing today. And this is all in the quest to make legendary purple science, which is by far the most exhaustive one to make. And this is a contraption we're going to be making today and trying to figure out, get it to working. This is making a monstrous amount of legendary steel and also some legendary copper as well. So, if that piqued your interest, let's dive on in and start from the beginning of the design phase. So, purple science, legendary purple science is the task for today, and because purple legendary science is requiring an ungodly amount of stone, it is completely impossible to make it in orbit, and therefore we're not even going to try that, and we're going to be going to good old Volcanus, our home and our favorite place to build stuff. I mean, aside from space, but it's so good. Right, so each of these, if that means how many are you going to make? Let's do something like this here. Won't that be, that should be pretty good, right? Yeah, 33. Let's go with 33 as the benchmark. Seems about right. Yeah, you know what? We wanted to get 40, right? So we'll just throw in a few extra here. That's 40. Perfect. So we need 200 legendary rails per second. We need 6.7 legendary electric furnace and some legendary productivity modules. That's an interesting challenge. The first thing we're going to be doing is, well, first we're going to have to do this part. And this will be legendary rails. Like, there are going to be so many different weird things that we need to make. And can these keep up? Like this? Yes, it can easily keep up. And it can also be, since each of these is requiring 50, that should also be fine. So that'll be legendaries or legendary stack inserters inbound, and it should get us going. Now the next part, this one has to go closer because we're going to get in here. There, and that's going to be legendary sticks. And before you start saying that I can make legendary sticks with the foundry, I cannot make sticks with foundry, because if I make sticks with foundry, I cannot set the legendarizing here because it's making exclusively from liquid. So not an option. We have to make it with a good old recipe here. And the question is then, is it going to be enough? And we'll do that part. Yes, it'll be more than enough to feed those two. Great. But we are also now starting to see, and I know there's a little bit of surplus, but we're also seeing that there is a lot of legendary stone inbound. And there is also a lot of legendary stone bricks inbound for this. So there's going to be a lot of stone inbound. Also, here is the fun thing. It's all going to come down to how the hell do we get this amount of legendary steel. That is really crazy amount of legendary. And it's not even enough, because this legendary steel doesn't even count the legendary steel into the electric furnace. So we also need to make legendary furnaces and stuff like that. So this is going to be the modules. They are going to be here. They also have to be legendary. Yes, please. Good. And is that enough? We'll just do that. That is not even close to enough. So let's make more beacons, because we're also going to get the other thing down here. Let's make them. This will be furnace, legendary electric furnace. Let's see if that's enough. Not quite. Let's put some beacons in, or modules in. Let's see if that's enough. It has to be 6.7, and this is 6.8. So this is enough, and there's a slight surplus. So if we now look at it, 191. Yeah, with a little bit of a careful calculation, we will see that we need about 170 legendary steel per second. And about 200 legendary stone per second. So that is our objective. This thing here is good. We're going to be having a bus on this line, and we're going to be building something because we need to build in lava. So that's a little bit of a challenge as well, on top of all the other challenges of this. Then let's get this one somehow up here. Let's get it up here, and then get this line also concreted. Why not? This is our build space, so let's get it covered in concrete. That one, outbound wise, I don't think it should be too big of a deal to make it, because this is going to be my standard build here. There. And that means I can use that in outbound, and I cannot use a stack inserter inbound. That is our standard build. This will guarantee that things go in There, that's be the output, and that will be 40 per second output. That is actually really nice to see how relatively easy that was made. That was here. Let's get some lights in here. Good. These can move closer as well, so that looks nicer. Then we have to deal with all the inputs and output belts of this. The easy one is this, because that just has to be something like that. That's easy. And then inbound, we're going to be taking the red and greens inbound here. Should this be further out like this? Let's do that. Yeah. And that will be also just grabbing stuff. It actually doesn't need to be that fast. This is only 22, so we can do that. And this is also red in here, so we need the steel and the stone bricks inbound as well. Stone bricks, we're just going to get that in here. That's just going to be stone bricks. This is going to be red and green circuits. And then we need steel. Steel has to come in here. So we get steel on this belt. And on top of that, we don't need steel for this, so we can actually just bend it over. And let's see, how much steel do we need for these two? Less than a half a belt. So this is going to be our steel inbound, and I'm pretty sure we need to do this one for legendary steel and one for legendary stone, so that we make sure that they are both working and they are not colliding. So that is good, and that will also be down here. That will be merged in here, and then from the other side we'll have the stone bricks. So it's steel, this is stone, and then finally we'll have one in here. That will be just the iron bricks coming in there. Okay, well, that was remarkably simple, to be honest. Let's put that one so they're all in line. Okay, well, that was it. Okay, good. Yeah, so we just need to remember what goes in. So now we need to just make all the stuff that we need inbound. So we need red circuits, green circuits, all these legendary stone bricks. Stone bricks require stone, and I also need stone. Then I need iron plates and steel. So let's do all the basic stuff, because we also, for red circuits, we need plastic. That's super easy. That can just be made down here, and then we get into the more difficult part. The more difficult part is getting this legendary stone and particularly the legendary steel. Those are the biggest ones. So let's do all the other ones first. So this is the very first thing. It's surprisingly simple. And the thing is, what we're bringing down from orbit, remember that, we are only bringing 3 things in from orbit, because everything else we can craft from this. So we are going to be getting the stone. Oh, that's not stone. We're getting the coal, which can go into plastic, and then so that's plastic. We get the iron, because that goes into iron and potentially steel, but we don't want that. And then we get the calcite, which goes into stone. The plastic, the coal also goes into plastic, which also goes into copper and steel. So that's just how we need to remind ourselves of how it works. That means the things that we actually need to request are very basic things. Oh, I was just freaking out about all that trash there. Let's get 900. That's a little bit excessive, isn't it? Then the next question is, why the hell do we not have anything in storage here? So that should be there. Okay, what I also need to see is that we definitely need another one of these. The Titan ship here. Yeah, that's jammed. Oh, I shouldn't have looked at this. I should have fixed it. It's using the old format. Yeah, it's using the old format, and therefore it jams. So I need to fix this, and once I fixed it, I need to build another one. So the second ship is now in progress of being made, and I've also upgraded it quite significantly in terms of just getting a little bit better. I got a lot more reprocessors in here, and I was considering switching it to laser turrets, but just to save on consumption. But if I switch to laser turrets, I also need a better power plant, so I decided against it in this case. Put it in more engines. All in all, it's a little bit better ship, and that's now a copy of the Titan, and I will also update the blueprints for that, for the blueprint repository. Now let's get back here. We have in the meantime gotten a little bit in here just so that we're ready, and we've switched up this design here. This is very simple. I use the bad simple the coal liquefaction, because it's so much simpler. Then I don't have to manage with all these intermediates, because I don't really need a lot of plastic. So let's just do this one, and it goes in. It makes a little bit of that. It goes in here. This is fine. Everything is affected by the beacon, so that should be good. This one is still producing 5k, so that's not really a problem. Everything is working, and these are coming out here. Great. And this will easily just, it'll also build up so we have a little repository of this. It might be a little bit excessive, this amount of storage for this. There we go. So that should be fine. And here, I'll do the same thing, but for legendary iron, and just saying, I don't know how, oh, that's definitely not enough. We'll just get 500, because once you build it, once you get it, it's just going to stand here. So now what we want to do is, we want to make sort of a bus of sorts. And we're going to be, let's have a look at how many things we want. We definitely want plastic that comes out here. Actually, plastic only needs to go into the next one, which is going to be red circuits. So let's also make red circuits in here. I am feeling confident that that's going to be where red circuits is going to be there. And if I'm then going to, where is that going to be? That's going to be this red circuit. I think we built a red circuit before, so that should be pretty simple. We'll build a red circuit here. I also want to get this one just hollowed out. Good. So that will be the iron in. The copper, we can't get it in until we get like that city build that we are looking for. So let's start working on those city builds. No, let's just add some red circuits here. So I built the next two simple pieces here, the red circuits and the stone bricks production, and I've also sort of pieced in together the belts so that they're, I don't know, somewhat makes sense. It doesn't really matter that much, but it's just sort of gathering it in. Why is it not working? Well, because we're missing the copper. So we're missing copper, and then we also need steel up here. So basically, if we can get copper and steel and stone bricks, then then that's what we need. So we're going to be doing a build here. This will be the stuff I showed you at the beginning. This one will be where we get the inputs for that. And then over here I'll have the stone. Let's just start with the stone, because I think that's actually simpler. What we're going to do with stone is interesting, because we need to get stone. And I can actually get stone. The best way is getting it from that, the molten copper. That is the way I get the highest yield of stone. So basically, if you look at it, then it's 1 calcite to 15 stone, and of course it's 1 legendary calcite, which we get from orbit, into legendary stone. That's perfect. The only issue with this is, well, if we make this, and of course I want this to be full productivity, and I want it to be modules. Let's throw some modules in like that. This is going to be fine. I get 200 of the stones. Perfect. Awesome. Amazing. Lovely. I love it. Except that's the easy part. The hard part is actually, oh, that's the wrong way. The hard part is then getting rid of this part, because now with this part here, if I need 200, then I need to get rid of 3600 copper. That's not so trivial, to be perfectly honest. It's not trivial at all. So we're going to be doing that here and here. Each of these will be doing just making copper like that. Nope, that's not exactly not what I want. Copper plates. There we go. And rotate, and then we can put it like this. Good. How's that working? Well, more beacons. Where are we now? Still 1,000 over. What about now? Okay, we got it. Next problem. We need inbounds here. That's not so bad. That's just two of these. They can take 3,000 each, so it's just like that. So that's easy. That's not a problem. The other problem is, how the hell do we get rid of this quantity of resources that fast? I'm also going to take in here, and this will of course be the magical calcite. So what I need to do is, I need to do, each of these is producing 160, so I need to do this. There. Now they do not drop very fast into lava, but they do drop pretty good, pretty okay. So this is it. The thing is, I need this, I can't put it on a belt and then put it out. So I need this to be built inside the lava. This is the whole point of me building it right here. It's because this is a place where we can build inside the lava and just smash it down like this. And you get your calcite. Let's get 200. That seems like a nice number. It's probably not even going to cut it. And this one will then be our legendary iron outbound once we get this one and this one. Yep. So let's wait for the calcite, and then all the remaining will just be thrown in. So what we're doing now is we're throwing away 560 copper per second just to get the stone going. That is actually, if you look at it, just as I'm explaining, this is actually pretty simple. This is a nice simple build. So there you go, we got it like that, and we got the stone bricks. 200 legendary stone bricks per second. Sometimes builds can be rather simple, and then it ran out because this one is just not gonna keep up. Let's get a little bit more of that. It's probably gonna be an ongoing issue. Here we're gonna go in, get the stone bricks. So now we're already seeing that we are getting stuff inbound. Iron inbound, coal, stone inbound, stone bricks inbound. Let's work on the steel and copper then. Well, let's work on it here. Okay, I'm always dreading this one because it's a little bit complicated. How is this one coming along? We are at 9, working on 19, and we need to get to 20 for this whole thing to work, because we are going to be doing the LDS shuffle. And if you don't know about that, then find my video. What I really love is that I am 100% certain that I coined the term LDS shuffle, and I watched on Reddit, and everyone uses it as the ubiquitous term for it. So I'm kind of proud of that. I was deliberately saying I'm gonna call it something that's something people will. It's a recognizable name, so that I'm happy about. There, and the reason why I called it this that is because I used to play World of Warcraft, and I used to be a money-making goblin, and we had the thing in the Wrath of the Lich King expansion called the Serenite Shuffle, and that was a really good moneymaker. So it came for the Serenite Shuffle, and I thought this is the LDS Shuffle, so that's where the term comes from. Cool. That was a little aside. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to do this. You can see that the productivity over on the right hand side is 280, and if I get the last 2 here, then it'll be maxed out at 300. So we're going to pretend that I have the last 2 because I will eventually get it. Oh wow, that's a lot of stuff that gets destroyed. Oh, I know why. That's because I'm not using any of that science. It also just seems okay. It's working. Cool. Anyway, so this part here is going to work, and it's going to work producing 24 of these per second. So what I want to do with this is I want to obviously get rid of it and put it into a box, just a normal box. Doesn't need to be anything fancy boxing. Actually, let's make it just to be sure. I don't need that. I don't think I need it anymore. Okay, so that goes in, but we have to remember that if I am at 300%, then I will be neutral by doing this and then getting it into a legendary recycler. That one. This legendary recycler will aim at getting rid of this part. It will recycle in here. This will be, let's see if I can figure this out. So this will get the yeah, this will get the low density structure in. This will be outputting. What is it outputting? Well, it's going to output something we need. We don't need copper at this point. This is not for the copper, this is for the steel. So it'll produce some steel, some copper, and some plastic. So what we need to do is we need to bring the plastic back home here. So this one will be plastic. We need to bring some steel out on the main belts. That is the whole point of this exercise there. And then we're going to get a lot of copper. And that just needs to be junked. So I'm going to take the copper and junk it into that one, which will then be hooked up to something else, where it'll just throw in the copper, junk that, get rid of it, throw it away. We don't care about it anymore. And then I'm going to be replicating this over on the other side. And then I'll be doing that over here. And then it's probably going to be a little bit of an issue, isn't it? Yeah. This is going to be the return belt. Yes. And you're going to be like that. So this means this is going on the left-hand side and that one going on the right-hand side. So there's also like a little bit of self-balancing in here. Great. And that will be a self-destruction thing. all of this, replicate on the other side, and this part here, flip it, and then it should be here. All right, and we're ignoring the outbound, the push outbound, and simply using the other thing outbound. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here, these need to be crazy fast, because I need to get rid of that quickly. So what does this mean? This means that I'm now producing 47, that's gonna be around 50. So we also need a lot of copper and a lot of iron inbound. So 50 of that, and that will go in. Oh, these ones actually have to be requested. Oops, no. That one has to be requested. Why? Because I needed to get going, and there is always, like with anything that is random, there is always going to be like a problem. So what I'm going to do is something like this, where I said request if it's less than 50, but throw it away if it's more than 500, because it can fluctuate up and down. And then I'm going to be building these two as plastic things there, just so that we have them nearby if they access. Oh, and then I also, no, I don't need to trash anything else because there won't be any trashed. And that will be the steel outbound. So we're gonna get the steel on this belt. Yeah, it kind of sucks. What? Why? Okay, then I'm just gonna get you down here instead. And then pretend that it was all intended to do like this. There. That one. Super. And then the steel goes up here. This steel goes up here. Right, so it's the steel. So once we get that, it's gonna work. And we're not gonna get this. And obviously this is also not enough. So I'm gonna have to replicate it, just mirror it on the other side. And let's see if we do that. Here. Nope, that's not correct. It has to be like this. I forgot these. Good. And then I need to get... This is the copper. Can I sneak it down here? Yes. And can I sneak it here? And then into that one for the copper. Yes. And we're going to do the same thing. And that's the iron. Good. So the copper will be going... I think I made a mistake again. I think I make mistakes all the time. I think I need to move this one over again, because I think I need 2 of these builds. Yeah, I need a lot more space. Well, luckily that's just something we can do. Let's get this going and see if we can actually make it work. And then once we figure out if we can make it work, then I'm going to double it. Okay, so this will get some copper inbound, and the only way we now need to make is to make a way to get a ton of copper. So let's just design it somewhere instead of designing it on top of that, and then we build it in. So how's that going to work? We need to start with this. We're going to get copper, and this time it's going to be not legendary copper. It's just going to be, or hold on, let me see. No, it's just going to be normal. Now we actually need the copper, molten copper. You could also say that, couldn't I just use all of this molten copper? I could, but then I'd sort of tie these together, and even though there is a fixed ratio, I just can't really cope with that, to be perfectly honest. I do actually think that would have been a lot smarter now that I think of it. I should probably do that. This copper, because this is producing how much copper? This is producing 3,600 copper, and this is consuming 3,000 copper. Yeah, I think we could actually just use that copper. Let's hook it up, at least this copper here. There's a little bit of it. Well, actually, this one can just be made anywhere. It can be made right there. That'll be fine. Yes. Okay, so that's making it a little bit nicer eventually, but we still need a lot of copper. So we still need an excessive amount of copper. So what I need to do is I need to make some kind of build that is really intensive on copper. And since I'm just using calcite, which is pretty much free, normal calcite, and I need to get rid of the stone. Getting rid of the stone is actually going to be the hardest problem, so what we need to do is just basically do that. And this one just has to go as absolutely insane as we can. And that one. There. And then I'm going to get this belt. Will be a great belt for getting calcite in, because we're actually going to need quite a bit of calcite for this build. If this here is needing 9 calcite per second, well, it's not much. Maybe we'll get more. Then I need it outbound or inbound. I'm going to get, this is going to be the inbound. And then they'll go out here and merge, and then be put it. And then I also need flip it like this and flip it. Okay, we're definitely having a design now that makes sense. And these. So what does this require? Let's see. That. These are connected. These are connected. And then I also need to connect it like that. And also like this. I don't know if I need to connect it. Well, I don't know. I know I don't need to connect it all the way around, but I just, right now, I'm just feeling that that's a good idea. So what do we need to do now? Now, this will be a belt inbound here of calcite. That's good. And this will be a lot, like a lot of how fast is this? This is now needing 18.5, so that's 7 pumps to go in here. Good. But this is the design, and we need a couple of these. Cool. I like it. It's going to be made down here. Then I'm going to be moving it a little bit over. That. Yeah, this looks good. And then I can get that one in here. And I'm gonna get it again. One more. Okay, but now it's not working because all of this space... Whoops. All this... These are not connected. These are not connected. These ones are not connected. These are not connected. I just need to make sure that here as well, because they don't go under lava very well. There. Yeah, we'll take all this out here. Also that, even though it don't really need it. I just need this open, same one down here. Again, get everything that isn't that 5 tiles in the middle. Get that covered. Just looks nicer. We'll keep that. No, we can't keep that open because these need to merge together. Like so. That's good. Do I need one more? Yes, I need one more for steel, for iron as well. This one is exclusively for the copper. So we need another one here for the steel or the iron. That will be the same. Good. And again, that needs to be getting the same treatment. And I'll probably forget something and then they'll break. Importantly, they don't need to be connected, but this needs to be connected over to that side. Right, so at this point, what I need is I need a calcite deposit, which I have up here. So I'm going to be bringing in some calcite, and as soon as I bring in calcite to this location, it should actually work once I have found a way to put 7 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, that was easy. And I can see there's a little interesting thing here. Yeah. Great. That is amazing. Okay, so let me get calcite in and then we're ready to fire this up. We are now ready to hook this up and hopefully it works. What I've also done is I have set this up so that it is putting all of this into a box, and if the box, it'll always try to push it into the network here where it, yeah. and with at 3000 per second, and it's producing a little bit more. So this one will accumulate, and then it will just burn through these ones and then output. So what you should be seeing now is that things should be working. Yes, we get some copper. This one should, yes, there's also some juicy molten iron. So now we need to get the iron and copper into this build. The copper is here. Yeah. There we go. And the iron should be... yeah, I'm gonna do this as a test, and then I'm gonna be doubling it. So let's just treat it as a test first. And that means I need to get the iron that's coming from here. There we go. And then it goes in here and connected. Does it work? Oh dear. Let's see if it works. All this stuff is blinking, blinking, blinking. And we do actually have legendary steel coming out. And this is working, getting closer. So what is happening here? Here we can see that when it drops below, it'll start requesting some plastic in, which is also why we built this part here, so that we have some plastic available to request in if we need it. Actually, I think I'd actually like to get a... Oh, man, this is crazy. I'm gonna say the word. I'm gonna need a buffer chest here, because buffer chest will be requested from first. Nah, let's not go crazy. So these are working. Oh, wait, oh, it's just a little bit blinking because of this one. The reason why is because we're only at 280% productivity. So if I wanted to make it better so that there would be no net loss, I'd have to do this for now. There and there. And this one is... Oh, there's also something not working about this part here. There. And that one goes out. Maybe I'll get another one inbound like this. So here we... Okay, this is working again because now it's flowing. And as soon as it's flowing, it's working. And we get that steel up here. So now we also can say, you know what? This is all nice and good, but why are we not just getting some of the copper out as well? I mean, couldn't we do pretty much the same as what we did here for the copper? And the answer to that is probably yes. So we can probably get some kind of way to get copper out of this build as well, somehow. I think that I'll just... This one is actually having quite a lot of copper, so maybe that would actually be a better case for this. And that would be here, and that could also be here. So I could make something like... hold on. If I just do it like this, then you're gonna go out and you're gonna go out with that and that, right? Is that working? That's not working. Oh, because they just disappear and they push it in here. Of course, that's how it works. Okay, so it has to be coming out from that one. But remember, we don't really need a lot of copper for this build, so we can probably make it simpler. I'm thinking of... Can it reach? No, it cannot. It can just barely not reach. So I'd have to get like a pit stop in the middle. Or I would have to go sort of somewhere else. But I can... This one's not getting anywhere. Yeah, I can definitely get some copper out here in a relatively safe and easy manner by just going like that. And I could also do it the same way, and then it'll probably be fine. There, rotate it like that. And then find a way to get it across. Actually, that would... Nope, that would not be the way. Okay, there's the way. Okay, so what we've seen is working, but I need to multiply this a lot more. This is multiplied by 4, because each of these is producing about 50 steel per second. So we need more. Okay, so we're ready to hook this up. And the only thing we're missing is this little corner here. And then let's see if it works. I moved the whole thing. Okay, this is working. So we're also just sending copper out on the side, and when the copper stops flowing, because it will very soon, then it'll stop. So we see here, It's going in, it's making the green circuits goes into the red circuits. That's excellent. Do we get the plastic inbound? No, not really. Where's the plastic coming in? Plastic is up there. Okay, yeah, so plastic is not working. Oh, right, because I had to move it, then this one is no longer aligned. Here, okay, that's perfect. And then we should be seeing... There we go. We should see some plastic coming out. So plastic comes out. Once the plastic goes out, then we get the red circuits. And then we actually have everything we need. We should see that these are starting to hopefully become more... Okay, so we get the red circuits. Come on, make red circuit work. Oh, I think I know a little bit of the reason why the red circuits are not working. Aha! They need outputs, right? They need outputs. Good. And it also need lights. There. Sweet. Alright, so now we are getting red circuits. When red circuits are coming in, we should start seeing everything kick into gear. Alright, it's exciting. At least I think it's exciting. The whole thing is coming together and they are going out. They are producing. They're producing 100% of the time. Yes, and there's a slight surplus. We can see that it's stacking up on the belt. Great, it's stacking up here. And we're starting to see that. Great. So the only thing remaining is to make a giant launch facility. Well, not giant, but there is a launch facility here. This is rather small, isn't it? This one. I think I'll copy this and then double it, right? Because it seems so. It's so modest. Where do we want to build it? I think I actually want to build it here. Yes. Which means that someone has put some calcite in the wrong place. Lo and behold, we now have a consistent production of purple science, and we're producing it at 40 per second. All this is chugging along. It's working brilliantly, and it's fully stocked. Everything else here is working. There are like small things we could do, like adding a bounce on this one. It's not going to change anything fundamentally, but it'll just make it a little smoother so that we can see that belts are full instead. Look at that. And like most of these things are just minor things that if you want them, you can pick them up from the blueprint, from the save game, if you are a patron supporter, of course. Other things like this one is really cool and unique, so I'll be making a dedicated blueprint for this one and for each of these, this small little unit here. And it seems to be working. Everywhere is just chugging along, and we now have 40 legendary purple science per second, which corresponds to 240 normal science per second. And all we need to do is just grab it home, and then it's time for us to, well, we need to get this one going, or this one completed. And it's also interesting if we just go back here and look at novice, and then we should see which one is the one that's actually holding us up. It's purple science. So wouldn't it be awesome if we get purple science back here? Here we go. That's the first legendary purple science coming in, and what we're going to do here is different because we are going to be doing a full transition to purple, legendary purple. We're not going to touch the normal ones, so we're just going to be trying to keep up with the legendary purple. It's not going to be keeping up in the beginning, but once it starts consuming it, it's because we need to fill up this box and we need to fill up all the belts. And you can see that it's being consumed super fast, and that's because everything just needs a full stack of purple science in here. But once those purple ones are going to be turned into legendary, then that's going to be amazing. So where do we go from here? Well, I think that the main part of what we did, oh, by the way, this was absolutely absurd that I built this many because it's legendary, so never mind. I got carried away. So what is the really key takeaway is that this here is about, each of these builds is about 50 legendary steel per second. Of course, it can't stand alone. It has to get like these little bit of this as well. And once you get that, you can actually just make a production line that just makes steel instead of sort of having to shuffle everything, because this takes care of the shuffling for you, and it's just chugging along. It's robust. I've been running it for many hours, and it actually just works. If you remember to connect the pipes, which I kind of forgot, but if you remember to connect pipe, it works. So I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you find this to be as ridiculously awesome a build as I do, because I really love this build. It's some really cool things. So what we're going to do in the next episode is that I will just make some military science. We're going to just make that off camera because, you know, it's kind of silly. It's just kind of the same principle as this to get something, but it's not particularly new and interesting. Then we're going to be doing some basically figuring out why the hell does this circle up and down. we need to try to get it into a more stable build, so that we actually, all the signs that we should be producing is actually both getting in there and it is actually producing, and looking for random bottlenecks, which I think it should be a fun little challenge. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, if you are a patron, you can get the blueprints, and if you're not a patron, well, we build it on camera, so you can just build it yourself if you feel like it. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for following this awesome series. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Until then, take care and stay effective.